I ran a store selling physical products for about 6 months before I switched to digital. And honestly, that experience is probably the main reason I'm as sold on digital as I am, because I know what the other side looks like up close.
With physical products, the biggest thing nobody talks about up front is how much of your time goes into stuff that has nothing to do with actually selling. Your supplier ships something late. Now you're dealing with an angry customer. The item arrives damaged. Now you're issuing refunds and figuring out who's responsible. There's a whole layer of operational stuff that just sits between you and the actual business, and it never really goes away. When I moved to digital, that layer just disappeared. A customer buys something, it goes to their inbox, and that's it. I don't track anything. I don't coordinate with anyone. There's no package moving through a warehouse somewhere that I have to hope arrives in one piece. Orders processed automatically. Customers receive their product instantly. No logistics, no drama. The margin difference is real too. With physical products, you're constantly doing math on what's left after cost of goods, shipping, packaging, returns. By the time you've accounted for everything, you're working pretty hard for a thin number. With digital, I'm keeping somewhere between 50 and 70% on every sale. The product exists once and just keeps selling. And returns are basically a non-issue. If someone buys a digital guide and decides they don't want it, there's no logistics involved in that conversation. It's just a much simpler transaction all the way through. The other thing I didn't fully appreciate until I switched is how much easier it is to scale. With physical products, more orders means more coordination, more potential for things to go wrong, more time spent managing. With digital, more orders is just more orders. The workload doesn't really grow with the volume because there's nothing to fulfill on your end. I'm not saying physical products can't work. Plenty of people do it successfully. But for someone who's got a job, other commitments, limited time, digital removes so many of the variables that tend to burn people out before they ever get traction. That's why when people ask me where to start, I always say, start with digital. Figure out how to get traffic, figure out what converts, build the fundamentals. You can always add complexity later if you want it.
Link in the bio if you want to see how I set up my store.